So without delay, I'm going to invite up Eric Christpher to the stage. Big round of applause for Eric Christpher for joining us. Columnist at Entrepreneur Magazine. Eric, I'm going to hand you this microphone. European style. It means I'm going to hand it to you, and you can invite up your panelists yourself and let you take it away. Thanks, Eric.
Awesome. Who's excited to hear about the upcoming new movie, feature film called Revenge of the Geeks? So anyway, it's my honor and privilege to bring up some amazing people here in the world of Web3. Our topic today is going to be how to invest in the world of Web3. So I'd like to bring up to the stage our amazing panelists for today. So being ladies first, we'll start with Leah Peterson from GoodBlock.io and the Telos Foundation. Come on over here. Awesome. And she has got a nice, cool beverage in hand. And then we've got the CMO of Laguna, none other than Cameron Lee. Welcome to the stage, Cameron. Awesome. So just so you know, Leah, we both decided ahead of time. We coordinated. And I'm sorry, did I not give you a proper introduction? Because there's only 2 people on my list. Okay. It wasn't it was all right. So you know what I'm gonna do? Let's have you stand up.
Oh God. I feel like I'm like the bad kid here.
All right, so please introduce yourself because you didn't, for some reason, I wasn't on my itinerary, so I will take ownership of that. My bad.
I think Jordan's trolling me. Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Ahola Ward. I was dubbed the mother of startups by CNN 5 years ago. I'm a published O'Reilly author. Ann is my name, search is my game. Wrote the book on it for my industry. I love helping startups grow. That's my passion in life.
All right, so we're in the middle of what some people would consider to be not a bullish market. So who wants to lead in on their thesis right now on how to invest in Web3 right now?
All right. So, I mean, like, we're talking about investing in Web3, right? But I take a look at it from a little bit of a different view. It's like I'm looking at more the building on the Web3, like investing, like I'm thinking like tokens, what are you going to buy? What are you going to do? This kind of thing. But I'm looking at it more from the creators and this kind of thing. And what I'm looking at is, you know, Web2, right? You know, Twitter, Instagram, these guys, they built their platforms. But the reason they got popular, you know, isn't the platforms, it's the creators that came. And I think with Web3, we're going to see the same thing. You know, it's going to be, you're already starting to see it, right? The creators come in and that's what actually makes it interesting. So I think that the users follow the creators. So where I'd be looking is wherever they're building for creators. That would be my thesis.
All right, now before I go to Leah, share a little bit about your role as CMO for Laguna, and then maybe give us a little bit of your Marvel Avengers origin story on where you developed your superpowers.
All right, didn't expect that. Okay, so
Boom.
Yeah. So at Laguna, I'm basically, you know, working on the marketing, and I really like my stance on marketing is pretty simple, that the product should be doing the bulk of the marketing for you, right? So great products are very easy to market, you know? So luckily, the team that I work with, I get to work very closely with the product developers and make sure that what they're working on is also going to be very good for the market, right? So that my job becomes easy because of that, right? My origin story, geez. I started I really like creative work, and I did clothing design way back when. That moved into manufacturing, did a lot of that. Then moved into some computer programming, and then in Tokyo, I moved to Japan. Had no network anymore, had to totally start from scratch. And I went to all these little meetings and stuff like that to try to find my people. I landed at a Bitcoin meetup, and there they were, you know, all of them, just like, all right, there they are, you know. And so ever since then, I've just been working nonstop and just that.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
So Leah, tell us a little bit about what your thesis is right now in investing in Web3, and then give us a little bit about your background and your Marvel Avengers superpowers.
Thank you. So for me, I am not a huge investor of money. I'm an investor of my time into Web3. And I think that, as we know, the bear market's a time to build. So it depends on what you're trying to do. It is a great time to make money, I think, if you're dollar cost averaging in. You're going to get some really good deals on some really good cryptos. I don't think this is going to be a 3-year bear like last time. I actually, at Telos, we've already seen the price start to rally a little bit, and I've heard the same for other coins. So I would say if you're looking to invest money, dollar cost average in, don't be stupid, but it's everything's on a discount right now, get in. And if you're not looking to invest money, it's a great time to invest your time because the bear is when we build the most. So it's a great time to get in.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you came into the world of GoodBlock and Telos.
Sure. I was forged in fire. I helped launch the EOS blockchain. And if anyone knows anything about crypto, you've heard of EOS and how well that went. So I was a mom. I was on maternity leave. I was bored. A friend told me you should start researching and looking into crypto. You'd find it interesting. I took her advice, and here I am 6 years later working with the best team in crypto, GoodBlock. We'll talk about that later.
That was a wicked burn.
Now, putting up the dukes already. Let's get we're getting into the weigh-in fight. We'll fight later. So what's your thesis, Ann, as far as what you're doing as an investor and what you think the right things to be doing are in investing in Web3?
I mean, I'm the kind of person that sees a burning building and I run into it. So when I saw the crash, I saw an opportunity. I think confusion leads to opportunity. I totally agree with Leah. It's a time to build. I think it's when it tests your faith. And if what happened with Terra and everything, if that shakes your faith in crypto, you didn't belong here. Or we'll see you in 5 years. And so I see my time is my investment. And, I was the first agency to take Bitcoin as payment in San Francisco in 2014. Nobody paid with it, but I was excited about it. I have an old weird blog I wrote. I was just so excited. And so, I'm not at all dissuaded by what's happened. If anything, I'm encouraged because I know that people like me who can explain what's happening and why it matters are more necessary than ever. And if people like me are running, that's not good. So I'm going nowhere.
So being from the world of crypto back in the day, OG, like 2013, 2014, what are you telling people right now as far as obviously Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, NFTs, there's been a huge bull market last year. And now obviously we're kind of reversed the trend a little bit. So what are you telling people that would instill their faith to come in right now, as opposed to hey, what if it continues to go bear?
Well, my attorney would have me say that this is not investment advice, but I think
educational purposes
yes,
only.
This is disclaimers because he might be watching. But I would definitely say that just like with speculation, anything you're doing, just make sure that you're okay with it getting lower. Don't spend your run money. I like to buy in where I'm working in the ecosystems I'm working in. So, you shouldn't invest in anything you don't understand. The Warren Buffett rule, those rules still apply. So, maybe, I love Solana. They're fun. They're artistic. I do work in that space. So, buy in there. So if it has nothing to do with you and someone you barely know is telling you to do it, don't do it.
So going to you, Cameron, she talked about education and trying to get a better fundamental understanding. And there's obviously fundamental analysis when it comes to investing, technical analysis. Where do you recommend people go right now to get education when it comes to investing in Web3?
That's an easy one. You can do the all you like, watch the YouTube videos, you should go for it, right? Learn all this and the charts and the lines and all that. I would say just jump in, that's pretty much it. Just whatever you got, $10, $100, whatever, just, get something. That's how I got there. I think I just, got a little bit. And next thing I know, I'm holding it. Start paying attention to the price. That leads to paying attention to this, paying attention to that. Next thing you know, you're an expert, or possibly, right? And so I would say just really, I can't get the quote right. Steve Jobs had something where he said he was saying older people try to learn how does something work and younger people just tend to think like, what can I actually do with this? And I would just say, just jump in, just grab some. It's not, it's not necessarily simple or anything. Don't bet the farm, you know what I mean? But just like whatever you got, just jump in, play with it. You'll start seeing where you're going, and it's very likely if you're looking that direction, other people will be as well.
Gotcha. So Leah, where do you recommend people who are seeking the opportunity to become better educated investors, where would you recommend people start doing some research and getting, I guess, some good fundamental education?
I would say blockgeeks.com is something I'm a huge fan of, and that's because they use really simple language to explain the underlying tech and products so that you know what you're buying into.
So not block nerds, block geeks.
Block Geeks.
Okay, just checking.
Wow.
Bam.
That's free advertising for Block Geeks. Blockgeeks.com.
Send her some coin.
And because I do agree with the sentiment of, I think a lot of people get burned, and especially it's not just NFTs, it's the way of the world, but a lot of people get burned because they jump on the hype train when it's already reached the top, or it's just right there. They get FOMO. And what they need to realize is, just like everything else, most of the people that make money on those things knew it was coming. So they kind of expected that. And so they're quote unquote dumping on retail, even though that's a very nasty way to put it. So understand, like you said, what you're investing in. Go to blockgeeks.com, get the basics, learn what blockchain actually is, learn what NFTs are. Like, I'm sure a lot of people listening would be surprised if they're not well versed in NFTs to know it's not actually it doesn't have to be coupled with art, right? We know NFTs as an art, as a product, which is a great use case for it. But in the future, everything's going to be an NFT. And so you need to know these things to make educated decisions where to put your money and your time.
And you wanted to...
Yeah, I just wonder if we're going to always call them NFTs. Like, I feel like we're going to transcend that term in the next few years, because as hot as it is now, there's a sentiment against it in some ways. I was the first woman to complete an STO under the ERC 884, and it was for an NFT. I was trying to solve digital identity by myself. It didn't work out so well, but I see NFTs as like a notary. I see it as a way to create, it's to create a trusted record. I see so many more applications that consumers haven't even begun to wrap their heads around.
Well, as one of the Genesis key holders for the recent NFT.com launch, I hope that NFT sticks around for my own investment.
It will, but it's general now, but it will start to have subsets, right? As it develops, like we'll start to see, it's a blank NFT. It's those terms will evolve.
So I've been investing in the world of crypto since 2013. And I will never forget getting a message 8 hours after it happened, where there was a 4chan forum chat that talked about, I'm inside trading on the inside, and Bitcoin is going to hit 30K, and it had happened already, and it hit 29,800. So it was obviously some issues and people speculating on manipulation. And you talked, Leah, a little bit about dumping on retail, right? So we've kind of gone through this narrative of these cycles. Big institutional money is obviously looking to come in. What is your thesis on where we're at with the bearish market, and if you believe there's any influence from institutional money that is trying to shake out retail?
We all looked at you.
Jeez Louise, okay.
Tough question.
That's some heavy stuff.
I mean, I have thoughts on that. You know what I mean? But what's going to happen like in the market? I mean, of course you can guess where it's going to go. There's obviously like it's as much science as it is art, as it is dumb luck, in some cases. That's a really tough one, because if I'm going to answer that question, like I'm no longer just like chatting about this. This is a serious thing.
It got real.
It got real fast actually. I would just
That's why they call it geeking out.
Yeah,
That's right. We get it done.
I would do some research. I know that's but it could go either way. Maybe we're in a super cycle. I mean, I was at the Decentral event the other day, and I was just looking around, and anyone who thinks that's capitulation, that this is this is not capitulation. I mean, I know capitulation. That's when people are like hanging their hats up on their hooks. Just like, whatever. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna go fix cars or something like that. So I would be cautious, but at the same time, because my mindset is about the builders, not so much the investment. I would just say, take a look at the trends, look at the past trends. The revolutions in Web 2. There was a reason it's called Web 3. Web 2, it was a big change, and just look at how that worked. Look back to that, and history doesn't repeat; it echoes.
All right, so ladies, I'll be nice. Do you want an escape path, or do you want to address that question yourself?
I'll just go off on a rant. I think that Web3 was one of the best things that ever happened for us in crypto, because like all these clingers on type people I know from my network that are like influencer types that didn't really understand it. All of a sudden, everybody's got Web3 in their bio. They've got .eth in their Twitter names. It was like the best PR we could have ever asked for, because what it did is it invited the revolution. It invited the idea that this is a revolution and an evolution. And people who couldn't get behind crypto because it sounded dark and weird to them, like, oh yeah, Web3, that's cool, it's friendly. So thank you to whoever just put that out there, because honestly, it's made my life easier.
Yeah, I've always, when it comes to storytelling, I'm always like, to your point with NFTs and the lingo that comes in with layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, side chain, off chain, on chain, on ramp, off ramp, and there's all this lingo that people are trying to overcome. And then, of course, cryptocurrency sounds very cryptic. So going back to NFTs, Leah, I know that that your organization was intimately involved with an NFT launch here recently with a very famous astronaut. So maybe tell us a little bit about that program, and then what your thoughts are as far as like where people might find good resources on potentially investing in NFTs.
Sure. First, though, I do want to address the question you had prior.
Oh, she's not going to sidestep it.
I'm not.
Ladies never do.
I'm not afraid. Listen, if you've been paying attention, which I think a lot of people, if they're watching this, would be, we all know what started this bear market, or at least hastened it, accelerated it, right? Luna and everything, and Quan and everything like that. What I think is interesting is while prices have gone down, VC investment in Web3 has stayed pretty consistent, despite the sentiment on crypto Twitter. So, to your point, maybe it wasn't the point you were making, but I think it is telling that certain people are taking advantage of this downturn, as they should, to get really good prices on really good products and really good things out there. So I don't think we're going to be in this bear very long. I don't even know if we should call it a bear. I think it was triggered by a certain event, and that it wasn't truly... I don't think it was coupled that much to the economy, even though the world economy is going through it as well. So that's my take on that. Why I say that is based on nothing but just what I think. So no one, I have no inside knowledge. I don't know anyone. That's not, where that's coming from.
So tell us a little bit about the recent NFT launch that you guys did.
Sure. So I work on a layer 1 called Telos. Our company GoodBlock is one of the what we call block producers, but most people in the space would know as node operators or infrastructure providers. And we were fortunate enough, these two ladies in the audience actually were responsible for this project, to get Scott Kelly, world-renowned astronaut. I think he spent the most time in space, that's his record, right, than anyone else. We were able to mint some really great photography of his from space onto our blockchain and auction it off. And all that money, all the proceeds went to Ukraine. It was a great success between the part we did and the part he did with another provider. How much was auctioned off in total? Over 500K? 600,000. Shout out to Erica and CJ here.
Ladies, come on,
for working
stand up.
on that and making it happen.
The women of Web3.
So it was a really interesting story from a few different perspectives. The first being that so much of his audience, as you know, when he announced this on Twitter, were skeptical, because they're like, how can you say you're a pro-environmentalist, you're for all this stuff, and you're minting NFTs, which take up so much energy. They're doing this on Twitter, which also takes up a ton of energy, but that's neither here nor there. Like, they have these concerns, legitimate concerns. So at Telos, we are an energy efficient blockchain. We're Depot's delegated proof of stake, not proof of work. So we were able to really nicely address those concerns for him. And that meant a lot. And that played into part of his decision to mint with Telos, because he didn't want anyone to see this as a money grab or a hypocrisy. He wanted people to realize, I do care about the environment, and my choices are going to reflect that when I enter Web3. Great guy. I've heard he was a great person to work with. They did intimately. So we're excited for that. So check it out, scottkelly.com. And see the NFTs. They're all sold out, but maybe someone will
pick it up on the secondary market. Absolutely. So obviously, people can come in retail. You talked a little bit about, Cameron, just getting in, right? $10, $100. What about people who are a little bit more investing savvy? What's kind of the thesis on whether or not people should actually, we're talking about VCs, big dollars, big resources to analyze the markets, being able to have a fundamental understanding of like who's behind the development. Would you recommend that people start seeking out opportunities with like ETFs and investment funds? They might obviously pay some more on interest and carry, but they're bundling it in with someone who's doing more research. What would be your thesis on that?
So that's a little bit past me. ETFs and funds, I see all this, I pay a little attention to it, but it's not really my world. You know what I mean? I would say if you're bringing cash and you really want to get into this, I think they usually have the research teams, to figure out what's going on. I guess really where my where I get slowed down a little bit is going to be with retail, really, because those are the ones that I'm worried about. They catch the hype, this and that. If you're studying, if you know what's going on, if you're paying attention, just pay attention to what's working, what's not. Make sure you pay attention to the trends, but at the same time step back and look at the bigger, slower picture. And I think generally that's going to set you up in a better place.
All right, awesome. One last question for everybody before we wrap up here. January 1st, 2023, the price of Bitcoin will be?
I'll say 50K.
50K. Do I hear 52, 52, 52, 60, 60, 65, 70, 70, 75? No, go ahead, Leah.
I'm going to be a little more conservative and say 45, around there.
Okay.
I'm just not going to answer. I have no idea. I have no crystal ball. I'm sorry,
What do
man.
we get if we're right?
I don't know, Jordan. What do they get if they're right?
Jordan will give us a Bitcoin.
A free feature on Grit Daily.
That happens anyway. It's all we'll have to do some award show. I'll get into that when I hop up on stage. Give a little background on what that's about.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank our amazing panelists for participating in the event today on how to invest in Web3. And thank you for Jordan from Grit Daily for putting this amazing event together here at Consensus.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, one big round of applause for Eric, Christpher, entrepreneur, and Ahola Ward, aka TV and Ward O'Reilly author, Leah Peterson, and Cameron Lee from Laguna. Big shout out to Laguna for all the support today. Link to for their support today too, and for you those of you on the live stream. Hope you enjoyed that panel.